Today's AskReddit post. In 40 years what will people be nostalgic for? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Being able to say it must have got lost in the mail or I didn't get your text is a lie for ignoring someone. I work in tech and the old joke is features, schedule, budget, quality, pick 2. I don't think you need to worry about losing bad quality communication to blame things on anytime soon. In hardware it's fast, cheap, or good, pick any 2 inches. Deleted. Sure, it will be ready in 2032 and won't work. I think YouTube, like how us 80-90s babies miss early Nickelodeon and Saturday morning cartoons, I think future generations will miss the unlimited content. This is a point. I already miss the debatably good pre-2015 YouTube rewinds. Edit. Thank you for the award. Yeah, I don't dislike the stuff that's on there now. Well, other than the obligatory ads. But there was definitely a DIY quality to a lot of the older YouTube videos. Now they all seem like professional productions. Which again isn't bad. But it's just different. I think a lot of that is because it's much easier to have a professional quality look to videos now. Like phone cameras are good enough and there's free editing software that you can use with free tutorials for it. This is only partly true, and I wouldn't even say the biggest reason. The largest reason is sponsorship and money revenue in YouTube. Ads being their revenue stream mean that larger and more professional channels will accumulate views and be pushed by the algorithm. 5 years ago you didn't see every Jimmy Fallon video pull millions of views because there simply wasn't a channel and market for it. Nowadays, it's almost akin to network television with how many large media companies are on YouTube, and it buries anything DIY before we can even have a conversation about your point. Which is also true. Privacy. If the governments do it right, they'll slowly erode people's privacy rights, and few if any will notice or complain. In fact, it's already working. Congress renewed the Patriot Act last November, and the Senate voted this year to allow the CIA and FBI the ability to view US citizen browser history without a warrant. Do you remember either event being seriously covered in major media outlets? And do you remember any mass public outcry? Me neither. Edit. Many people are repeatedly bringing up private data collection by companies. This is also a serious issue, and it's not mutually exclusive. Both problems need to be fixed. My family and friends couldn't understand why I, a lifelong computer nerd, was so bent out of shape about the Patriot Act. Well, if you got nothing to hide. Bullshit excuse. Edit. Wow. Top comment I ever had. I'm trying to update every comment just because it is what should be. That or well it's just to catch terrorists. PFFFT. Back in my days we used video games with controllers. I was talking to my sons the other day. They asked me about my first job. I was telling them how fun it was working at McDonald's in high school and a friend that I made. We would finish our shift then go to the mall and play games at the arcade. At that instant I realized I might as well said we would get a root beer float at the soda shop then go to the sock hop to meet some girls in our hot rods. Crazy how fast things change. So anyway, Joey and me used to whip through work, nay down to the jewel shop, dab on some haters and go home to play Fortnite until our parents shut off the Wi-Fi. So anyway I started blasting, but the problem was I don't see good neither. Poppable bubble wrap. I hate that bubble wrap that the air just moves to the next bubble when you try to pop it. That stuff should be illegal. You're goddamn right. Say my name. High quality Nerf blasters. Nerf no longer makes anything worth buying unless you think it looks nice in my opinion. If you are not already, buy all your blasters and darts from Dart Zone. Dart Zone is the ducking truth. I think Nerf got worried about the PR from injuries and nerfed, their own guns. Dart Zone doesn't give a shit about your safety. Strong springs, tough rubber darts. Those are the real deal. And way more accurate waffle darts. Waffle darts are where it's at. Privacy and water. Oh, you will have water, but it will cost you a lot. Nestle entered the chat. Fuck Nestle. All my homies hate Nestle. I have a running joke that I'm from the future and I'm relieved that I'm back in the glory days of 2020. People are complaining that this summer is too hot. I'm just over here enjoying the coolest summer for the next 100 years. This was the comment that depressed me, comma. As a Phoenix resident, this triple depressed me. We're on par to have more 110 plus days this year than any other year so far. Yet people say climate change is a hoax. We just spent 5 months with family, having dinners together, watching TV together, playing games, just being a family. Kids are going to grow up remembering the time they had with their parents and siblings. There will be good memories. This was more wholesome than I first expected. Adults forget how resilient kids are. I can guarantee most of the adults complaining about getting back to normal would love to go back and have just 1 month with their dad playing catch or watching TV. Oh, for sure. Personally, I've struggled more out of lockdown. I like my little bubble. Feels like the world was paused. Top 3 things that came to my mind. Going to the movies, being able to flip to a random channel, driving to places. Maybe 40 years is too soon for this to be nostalgic, but it'll happen soon enough. Damn. The movie one hit hard. A small local theater near me just shut down for good. And I can't express how disappointed I'd be if the movie theater industry just never pops back up after this pandemic. Some of my best childhood memories are from the movie theaters. Nah, I think they'll be heading for a golden age. Hollywood won't stop making movies, but they don't have to release them to theaters. I think indie movie theaters at a higher cost will stick around, though. Where I live, the big chain ones cost 3-5x more than independent ones. These replies are depressing. No wonder no one wants kids. Kids? Remember kids? Remember people used to get pregnant and have wee babies and all? Those were the days. I just watched Children of Men last night. Man, your comment just got to me. I've never seen it. Worth a watch? Definitely. Clean air. I am already nostalgic for the time before forest fire season. Imagine how clean the air must have been during biblical times when you'd be the only person for miles. My brother is a forestry firefighter in the Rocky Mountains up here in Canada, and I'm a couple hours away from the mountains in an industrial city, doing welding manufacturing. I'm used to the awful smells of big trucks, trains, meat and agro-processing plants, and of course all the nice fumes in a welding shop. When my brother returned from an uneventful fire season, he couldn't stop complaining about all the smells having to pick me up after work. I was nose blind, and every few kilometers he smelled something different but equally awful. 40 years ago was 1980. I was a teenager. If that question had been asked then, some very similar answers would have been given. Clean air, clean water, clean earth, non-radioactive land between 3 Mile Island and the getting hot Cold War. We thought there was a pretty good chance of some kind of nuclear apocalypse. Various species of animals, neither the California condor nor the American buffalo, among others, were looking too good. There was some general fear about computers and what they would do. See films like 1983's War Games. And yet, here we are. A little better in some aspects and a little worse than others. 2020 is quite a downer of a year, but human beings are endlessly optimistic and adaptable. I predict in 40 years we'll look back on some of our fears today like 80s folks look back on things like Genesis Land of Confusion video, a little nostalgic, a little embarrassed and a little humbled by both how much and how little has changed. Best comment in this thread, deleted. One of the best comments in the history of the world. Driving a car yourself. I hate this because I haven't had my license in a while and I kind of wanted to maybe drive again, but probably not. Maybe you can go to a track or something in the future. Drive an old Timmy combustion engine car. In the future, driving cars will be like riding horses today, an expensive hobby, mainly for the rich. Damn it. Well, on the bright side, at least there's no shit to pick up. Freedom on the internet. We are past that point already. I'm nostalgic for it already. Alright, but maybe we should stop being nostalgic and started fighting to get our privacy back. Government, companies, and even programs and algorithms. Let's demand a stop to the invasion of privacy. We should definitely fight more for our right to privacy. Polar bears and bees, which will also mean many fruits and nuts. Yep, I believe they can pollinate manually. However, the process makes them super expensive. I don't want to live in the world where someone says, "Don't you miss 2020? It was simpler time." Pretty sure it will happen though. Nostalgia will always be a thing. IDK. Nostalgia just isn't what it used to be. META. The internet. Hell, I'm nostalgic for it now. Not the final form that the internet has taken over the past decade or so, but those Wild West days before YouTube, Facebook, social media, Reddit, finding weird ass sites, GeoCities pages, looking up cheat codes for GTA, hanging out on forums, seeing something go truly grassroots viral and not just because it's trending on Instagram or something. Those days when no company knew what the hell the internet was or how to market on it. It was just left to the nerds and the kids who were making up the rules as they went along. I miss when the internet felt like a little adventure rather than a time sink or utilitarian tool to get the day-to-day done. Yeah, there was something so satisfying about sitting in front of a boxy screen, clicking on that dial-up, waiting for the connection and then just surfing random shit for a couple of hours. And that was it. A couple of hours. My first internet plan back in 1998 was $20 a month for 8 hours. 8 hours of internet a month. Drinks full of sugar. Food full of salt. Oh, and antibiotics that still work. I'm still angry they took the cocaine out of my Coca-Cola. You know you can just add it back in, right? Okay, Mr. Moneybags. Look at this guy with his Coke and Coke. God, this comment section is depressing. It's Reddit, we'll be alright. I promise. You mean Reddit is just pessimistic? Yes, strange, right? Freedom and privacy. We are losing both at an alarming rate, with almost no public attention to it, by design, sadly. Movie DVDs. With everything going digital, I think production houses will soon stop making DVDs and just start streaming the movies in either their respective streaming platforms or sell them to other platforms like Netflix. Got me a new music CD today. Friends think I'm insane. I like physical movies, CDs, books, and video games. I'm 16. Sure, digital is more convenient, but some reason I like to hold my possessions. Plus being able to save movies CDs to my computer and lending them to my pals. Well, they're still making vinyl records, and collector's editions of DVDs and Blu-rays make a ton of money. So I think we'll still have physical media. Comfortable temperatures. Laughs in Texan. Why ha ha ha. Healthy spines and happiness. Things aren't what they used to be is the rallying cry of small minds. When men say things used to be better, they invariably mean they were better for them, because they were young, and had all their hopes intact. The world is bound to look a darker place as you slide into your grave. Nikomo Koska. The environment that COVID showed us when we stopped polluting it for 2 weeks. Now it's alright. We'll go back to polluting in about a year or so. Already started. Ahead of scheduled what? Democracy and fair elections. I'm already nostalgic. Bro, same. Minecraft. It's already nostalgic for me and I still play it. Hardcover books. I'm already nostalgic for bookstores. There's one or two around me, but pre-pandemic, they were on their way out. I'm nostalgic for local bookstores. The only bookstores around me are Barnes & Noble and Half Price Books. A friend of mine only has a Books A Million. I miss little mom and pop bookstores. They're so cozy and they carry everything you could want. All the chains seem to carry bestsellers and toys. I miss browsing the shelves for everything under the sun. in a comfy setting, with cool owners. Privacy and the ability to go somewhere without seeing 75 cameras all the time. Went to the beach today and no one was in the water except for me and my friend. Everyone else was waiting for golden hour in their dry beach wear. Golden hour? It's a photography term for when the sun is at the perfect height, making for great photography light. Usually between 6-8 p.m. Source: am photographer. Also 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. for the sunrise. Seafood. There won't be anything left in 40 years. Edit: I get it, there will be some sort of sea life clinging on to eat. My point is nobody will be eating halibut and tuna on the regular because we killed 90% of them. I think seafood will be fine as long as we start managing it better. Unless you're talking about global warming. Which in that case, I have no idea what's going to happen. Landlocked EU countries proceed to overfish in Irish seas. This rots me. I live East Coast Canada and we have super strict rules for our own fishing to try and not totally wipe everything out and cause irreparable damage. Then we have these giant ass trawlers coming from other countries fishing in our waters, completely ducking up everything from the ocean floor up, capturing everything in their way en masse and not giving a singular duck about anything or anyone else. KILLME. If you ask me, super trawlers should just be illegal. But then they just send out a shit ton of small trawlers. It's stupid that we have so little control of our own ducking sea. And what's worse is that while landlocked EU countries can exploit our resources, we can't take shit back. We don't get anything in exchange for the fish. Another main reason we joined the EU is for good farming goods prices. But now they are ducking us over in that too. With them importing loads of cheap beef, that's put a lot of beef farmers under severe strain. At this point there isn't much for us in the EU other than the benefits our businesses like Intel and pharmaceutical companies get with open borders. Avatar: The Last Airbender because it's still good. People were already nostalgic for it. Cash money. Besides the occasions when dealing with cash is just a lot more convenient. It's art. All those paper bills and coins are designed. Some are beautiful. Also there's still a little bit of privacy left in paying cash for things. That's very true. If you want to go somewhere without someone easily tracking your movements from your bank statement, pay with cash. The opposite of this saved me once, though. I got dinged for a couple of fat ATM withdrawals. I went into the bank and could prove, from my debit card use, that I was 500 miles away on the dates those transactions were done. Records can hang you, but they can save you, too. There is an entire generation that's growing up on finger puppet videos and random kid-themed YouTube channels right now. Honestly, I'm scared of the hell to be brought upon us in 30-40 years. Ah yes, the Spider-Man Elsa generation. Dude, if the kids are learning from Miles and Elsa, they're gonna do okay. I'm more worried if the kids are learning from Donald and Alex. Having people stay 6 feet away from you at all times and all places. God, I love people keeping their distance and having an amazing excuse not to see anyone. I like wearing a mask in public. Their youth. Koalas. New. I need koalas to be there forever. Playing physical games with friends. Going to friends' houses to play basketball, soccer and a few video games. And then have a sleepover. Socializing to the extent even the youngest here have experienced. Unless there's significant backlash against games as a service. I think people 40 years in the future will miss being able to own games they have full control over without having to log into a remote server even just to play single player. Period. Work-related pensions. They don't exist already for the large majority of us. Life pre-COVID. We will refer to them as the before times. Probably a lot of stuff people will be nostalgic for isn't even invented yet. Manual cars. I'm pretty young, and I can imagine a world where my grandchildren want to ride in a manual car for the same reason I like to listen to vinyl. Edit. I am sorry for the confusion. I mean manual as in driven by humans. I am aware of the difference between manual automatic. I just imagine a world where cars are ubiquitously means what we call automated cars, thus necessitating the distinction of manual cars. Sorry for the confusion. Edit 2. Upon thinking about it, I guess it is more likely that manual cars would be extinct than human-driven cars be extinct. I guess I was unintentionally correct. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.